you very much for enrolling in my class. Today we're going to talk about applying time management techniques in project management. And the present training will help you master time management techniques in project management. So our session consists of three big parts, which are assisting in the development of project schedules, applying agreed schedules, and the last topic will be participating in assessing time management outcomes. So you're very welcome to actively participate in this training session in case you've got questions, so please feel free to ask me. Okay, so and also I forgot to mention that at the end of the training session I will have to assess your knowledge, so I will have assessment questions, and that will be it. Okay, so how can you help develop project schedules? So how can you assist in the development of project schedules? So you can do this by contributing within delegated authority to determining the duration and effort, meaning resources, as well as sequence and dependencies of tasks to meet project objectives. But because you won't be a project manager, that's why so you'll be working under limited supervision or guidance. So that's what we mean by delegated authority. So you'll be delegated some authority. So also by delegated authority we mean within agreed authorization and limits, within established organizational framework, procedures and routines, and also in a multidisciplinary environment subject to frequent change. So another way to assisting in the development of project schedules is contributing to the agreement process. So you will participate in the agreement process of the project, of a particular project, and also you will have to communicate with the clients. So you will have to communicate the project, agreed project to the client or other stakeholders. Also, another way you can assist is by using special project tools and techniques, and which should help establish and integrate planned time management aspects of the schedule and financial requirements. So if you talk about project scheduling tools and techniques, so could you just name some of them, just from the top of your mind? Can you come up with any? So what are project scheduling tools and techniques you can use? They may include qualitative and quantitative time analysis. So you will assist in this kind of analysis. And by time analysis we mean, for example, schedule simulation, work breakdown structure, decision analysis, contingency planning, and alternative strategy development. Also by project techniques we mean using personal experience or experts, and also using specialist time analysis tools to provide output to assist in the decision-making process. Okay, and now we're gonna talk in more detail about some of these scheduling tools. For example, project simulation or schedule simulation. So it's used for project management training and analysis, so it can be used for training and analysis. And project simulation is often used as I said, as training simulation for project managers. In other cases, it's used for what-if analysis and for supporting decision-making in real projects. And also, as I said, it's also used to analyze real projects. And the goal of the simulation is to show the user different possible outcomes of his decisions, along with the probability that each outcome will occur. And actually, this kind of simulation helps reduce the project risk and choose the best project plan. And as I mentioned before, there's another tool which is called work breakdown schedule. And what does it look like? And I'll show you. So a work breakdown structure lists out all of the activities that you will need to undertake to deliver the project. So this is the key element you will need to develop a project plan. And so how do you create such a schedule or such a work breakdown structure? So you will have to group tasks under different headings. So once you have a list of all of the activities, and this will give you the possibility to identify the chunks of work that you need to deliver, and also it will help you put together the milestone chart. So you also have to identify dependencies of all activities, because usually all of the activities are related. So also you will have to estimate how long each activity will take. So, and also you have to be aware that there was research done, and it points out that we are very bad at estimating. So if you estimate a task will take 3 days, so it may take actually much longer. Or so you have to identify how confident you are that you can deliver this task in 3 days, so by using percentage sign. Also, you have to identify the critical path for the project. And the critical path identifies those activities which have to be completed by the due date in order to complete the project on time. So I will give you an example of a work breakdown structure. So that's how a project schedule looks like. So here you've got a list of different activities. On top you've got the numbers of weeks, and you can see what time when each of the activity takes place. And one of the types of work breakdown structure is called Gantt chart. So, and a Gantt chart is actually a type of bar chart adapted by Henry Gantt in the early 20th century, and it illustrates a project schedule. Also Gantt charts illustrate the start and finish dates of the terminal elements, and it also shows the dependency relationships between activities. So it's interesting to know that although now regarded as a common tool, Gantt charts were considered revolutionary when they were first introduced. And I'll show you another one just in a second. So also in a Gantt chart you can view tasks and subtasks with status, with responsible persons, and chronological relationships. And actually it helps you see a full picture of the progression of the project at a single glance. And it helps identify potential and existing delays. So once a task is created, it can still be modified directly from the table or Gantt chart. So, and just to sum up a little bit. So here is an illustration of the steps that you have to take when planning a project. So what do you have to do? So first you define objectives of the project, then you document overview, you prepare work breakdown structure. You prepare estimates, and we will have a practical assignment on that. So you document your assumptions, define dependencies, assign and level resources, define milestones, prepare budget, compile project plan, and get approval for your plan. So, and also I would like to show you something. So I would like to actually show you the Gantt chart. So it looks like this. So it's a little bit. So it will be a little exercise. So here you put the heading of the activity, and here you've got sub-tasks down there, and then another activity with sub-items underneath. So here you have start date, end date, duration. So you can put just anything, any information in each column. So for example, responsible persons. There's a heading saying assigned to, so that's responsible person. You can add comments as well. So for example, let's do a project, for example, baking a cake. So here you put the name of this activity, baking, or for example, preparing for the party. And baking a cake is part of, of this big project. So baking a cake. Now you have to put subtasks, for example. So what would it be?
So buying ingredients?
Yes, so buying ingredients. Very good.
Probably before that should have been choosing a recipe.
Yes, choosing a recipe.
And then I guess creating the cake.
Very good. Recipe. Okay, whatever. Recipe. Baking a cake. Or putting the dough in the oven.
Yeah, perfect.
Very good. Now you have to put the start date. So, it's defined automatically, and based on the dates you put for each of the subtasks. So, for example, buying ingredients would be okay. Let's leave this date, so the first of the first. So, choosing the recipe, maybe same date. Putting the dough in the oven, maybe the next day.
Yeah.
So that would be the 2nd of January. The date is the first of the first. Then end date. So how much time will it take you to buy ingredients? Probably a few hours. So you will leave the same date. So choosing a recipe, probably you'll do this on the same day as well. It won't take you too much time. And putting the dough in the oven, so we'll change the date because you're gonna do it the next day. I've got to change this. It's because I put the wrong date here. Yes. So the latest date is reflected in this field. Okay, and you can see the duration. So it's defined automatically. So you can put for example, you can show how complete it is by putting percentage. And here you've got a timeline. So you've got sort of a calendar with these activities. And for example, so baking a cake for the party, and maybe another thing is, for example, inviting guests, yeah, which is also related in inviting guests. And when do you think you will do this? Maybe
a week before.
a week before.
Yeah.
But also we can't change this date, but
Yeah.
we first
Ah,
have to
We
put
need
these
such
dates. So inviting guests, so maybe
So we would create a guest list.
Yeah, guest
yeah,
list.
creating very good, perfect. Creating a guest list.
Sending the invitations.
Creating the invitation.
Creating them.
Yeah, first creating. Oh, sorry. What happened? Okay. Sorry, what did you say again?
Creating the invitation.
Creating
Creating.
invitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very good. Creating invitations.
I guess the next would be sending them off.
Yes, and then
And if we can have one more category, it would be like getting the RSVPs in, so completing the invite
very
list, guest list.
guest list. Okay, very good. And so, which date would it be?
Week
So
before,
creating-
was it?
Yes, a week
Yeah.
before. So say it will be the 23rd of
Yeah.
December. Very good. So creating the invitations. Will it be on the same date?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Sure.
So the 23rd. Okay. Sending them off maybe the next day,
Yeah.
the 24th.
And maybe
And-
completing the list the day before, 2 days before. Confirming
Before the
everyone's
party,
coming.
you mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So okay, the 29th.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very well done. And yeah, that's it. So I just put this in. So we have to think how much time it will take.
Mm.
Each of the activity will take. So you probably do this on the same day. Sending them off. So sending them won't take more than one day.
Mhm.
24th. And completing probably the same. We'll put the same date. Okay. So yeah, and here you've got duration, so you can see how much time each of the activity will take. And also you have you can see these dependencies here. So you see what happens first, what happens next. So that's how it works. So this is an example of Gantt charted. You can use this website, smartsheet.com. So it's pretty. Their software is pretty easy to handle. So okay. Do you have any questions?
No, that was
No,
good.
that's good.
So very good. So now let's go back to the presentation. Okay, and one more thing. How else you can assist in development a project schedule. So we already mentioned, so you can determine the duration, effort, and dependencies of tasks. So you can use project scheduling tools. That's what we've done, and that's what we've practiced doing. And also, you can another way you can assist is by contributing to the agreement process. So that's maybe the last stage. So it's important to also contribute to the agreement process and communication of the schedule to the client and other stakeholders. So at this stage, you will be communicating with the client and stakeholders very closely. And there's one thing I would like to mention, because you'll be dealing with people and maybe with external clients, so it's a good idea to be aware of your rights and obligations. And your rights and obligations are outlined in the Equal Opportunity Act of 2010. And it's an important document to remember. So that's Victoria's anti-discrimination law, and it protects you, so it protects people from discrimination and harassment in areas of public life such as workplaces, schools, clubs, shops, and places that provide services. So in Victoria, it's against the law for someone to discriminate against you because of your personal characteristic that you have, or someone assumes that you have. And these personal characteristics are things like age, race, disability, physical features, and political beliefs. So if someone breaks your rights, you can take that person to court based on this act. Okay, very good. So we've just talked about the first big stage of the presentation. I mean, the first big part. And now we are gonna talk. We're gonna talk about agreed schedules. So that's the second part of this presentation. So the first one was assisting in the development of the project schedules, and now that the project schedules are developed, so you have to apply these agreed schedules. So how can you apply agreed schedules? So you can use techniques to measure, record, and report progress of activities in relation to agreed schedules and plans. So how can you actually record the process? So you may keep diaries, incident logs, occurrence reports, and other similar documentation. You can also keep lists of potential scheduled events, and project and organization files and records. So based on these documents, you can actually see the progress of the project. So that's the sources you can use to report progress of activities in relation to agreed schedules. Okay. One more thing. So you can apply agreed schedules by recording variance between actual and planned progress, and that happens very often when the project is delayed. And you can also report to others for remedial action. So who can be others? So it's either you have to report either to relevant authority or project manager, or project specialists or other personnel that can be team members as well. And for this purpose, you will use a plan versus actual plan to see the difference, the variance between what was planned and what happened in reality. So it's also easy to create. So this form is easy to create. So it allows you to monitor how you are progressing with specific tasks, time and money-wise. So, and you can link these forms into milestone reviews. Okay. Another thing you can do. So, how else can you help the project manager in applying agreed schedules? So, you can contribute to forecasting the impact of changes on the schedule and to the analysis of options. That's a very interesting topic, and we're gonna talk about it more. Okay, let's talk about forecasting the impact of changes. So how can you forecast? And I'll give you some handouts. easy way to forecast the impact of changes or changes. So all you have to do is you have to come up with 3 duration estimates. So you have to come up with optimistic scenario or best case scenario, worst case scenario or pessimistic, and most likely or realistic scenario or duration. So in order to get the best results you can. So these 3 duration estimates allow you and the project manager to perform simple sensitivity analysis on the project schedule. And by changing key durations, the project manager and you as well can model the overall schedule impact of possible scenarios. For example, the project manager can model what happens to the project schedule if a given activity takes the worst case duration instead of its most likely duration. And so how can you define these optimistic scenarios and realistic? So you have to be working very closely with specialists, so you don't just do it by yourself, but you do it in consultation with lots of people, lots of experts. So all 3 durations, so all these 3 scenarios, so best case scenario, pessimistic and realistic scenarios, so they set the range of probability, so-called probability. So for this purpose, you should use the initial Gantt chart, the one which I showed you before, to determine the shortest realistic project, so to determine the best case scenario. Then you will have another scenario like I showed you, another chart like I showed you, but it will show different dates, so, and it will be worst case scenario. So in order to determine an upper limit for a project. And you will have to use calculations to define the center for the range of project duration, so expected duration. And these calculations are called PERT time estimating, or PERT calculations. So what are they about? So you will have to come up with optimistic estimate, pessimistic estimate, and you will have to come up with also most likely estimate. And there's a formula for that. So by adding all of these estimates and dividing them by 6, you will come up with expected estimates. So and I've got a small scenario for you. So it will be. So this project, so imagine you're gonna construct a yacht.
Excellent.
For yourself. So what does this project consist of? This yacht construction project consists of milestones, which are listed here in the table. So could you please read the list of the activities that have to be
Number 1. Construction of hull. Number 2, construction of deck. Number 3, engine installation. Number 4, superstructure. Number 5, plumbing and wiring. Number 6, radar installation. Number 7, interior finishing. And 8, painting.
Excellent. So each of this activity has to be analyzed, and you have to come up with the duration, so you have to come up with estimate. So, for example, here someone has already done this work for you. So, optimistic estimate for construction and of hull is 4 days. So, pessimistic estimate would be 8 days, and most likely estimate is 6 days. So, I would like you to estimate, to calculate expected estimate. So, here is. With the calculator.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you very much. Yes.
Okay.
So please feel free to use the calculator. So you have to follow this formula. So you'll have to multiply most likely estimate by 4, and then add that number to the number of days according to optimistic estimate and then pessimistic estimate, and divide it by 6.
Okay.
So that will be your...
Yeah.
For a minute?
So could you please do this for each of the activity?
Yes. Let's see. Yeah. Should I go? Yes. Okay.
Okay, very well done.
Great.
Okay, great. You've been quick. Okay, so which results have you come up with?
Okay. So for the first one, I got 6.
That's right. So that's expected time estimate.
Yes.
Very good.
The second one the expected estimate was 5.
Very good. Okay, what about you?
Engine installation 6.
Very good, that's right. And the next one?
Superstructure 8.
Very good, very well done. Okay, Emma.
The plumbing and wiring, I got a 3.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
And the next one? Okay.
Radar installation 2.
Very good.
The interior finishing 8.5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the last
Painting
one?
6.
Very good, very well done. Okay, very good. So, and one more thing I would like to show you is in case you came up with changes, so how can you implement agreed changes to the schedule in case there has been a change? And how can you update plans? So also you can do this by using this software. So in case you have to change the date, for example, in case one of these activities will take longer than expected, so you just click here and change the date, and then it shows a different duration. So it's very easy. So okay, and we just talked about 2 big topics, which were assistance in the development of project plans, and the second one, applying agreed schedules. And now we're going to move on to the last one, to the last part, is which is participating in assessing time management outcomes. So, and we're going to talk about it in more detail. Sorry. Okay. So, when assessing time management outcomes, so you can also provide assistance in the review of project outcomes. So you can also participate in reviewing project outcomes, which will help you to determine the effectiveness of your of the time management tools you used, and also as well as techniques and approaches. So how can you? So what should you look at when assessing or reviewing project outcomes? So you have to check if, for example, agreed major milestones or phases have been achieved. So you can also look if check if key personnel has been changed, or if major deliverables have been delivered. So you also have to check if projects and other milestones have been finalized. So that's the review process. That's what it involves. Okay, and another thing that you can do to participate when participating in assessing time management outcomes. So you can also report scheduling and time management issues. So in case there are any. And responses to project manager, who's responsible for the project. So in this case, so when do you actually have to report time management issues? So in this case, you have to agree on a tolerance figure and monitor. So for example, if a tolerance figure is of plus minus 5%, means as long as you are within this limit, within 5% limit, so you do not have to formally report. So it's just an example, so it can be, for example, 4% or 6%. But if, for example, the project exceeds the set limit, for example, the 5% limit, for example, cost or time-wise, so in this case you have to report this to the agreed person, so probably to your project manager. So you don't just report any time. So so that's pretty much it. So, and I'd like to sum up the things we've been talking about. So in this training we learn how to contribute to meeting project objectives, how to use project scheduling tools and techniques, and we also discussed techniques to measure, record and report progress, as well as recording variance between actual and planned progress. We also talked about implementing changes to the schedule, in updating plans and also participating in assessing time management outcomes. So, and my question is, so do you have any questions? So,
yeah, with the Gantt chart, if you had to change, say we were baking the cake and you had to change the day that we were buying the ingredients, how does it update the other ones? So obviously if I haven't bought the ingredients, then it will mean that it will take me longer till I can start baking the cake.
Usually this program does it automatically.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's maybe, it's one of the examples of software, you can use, but there are lots of them, so yeah, so it's very easy software. Okay, very good. And I would like to ask you another question. So what would you like to add or maybe change, add to this training session to make it better, or maybe change, or maybe you've got some wishes, ideas?
I found it very well informed, I think.
I like
thank
the
you very
practical
much.
work.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
That was fun.
Thank you
Engaging.
very much.
It was good.
Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to deliver it. And the last part, the very last part, is I promised. So now we're gonna have assessment questions. So, and I'm gonna give them to you. And so what we will have to do, so these will be verbal questions. So you've got a list of questions, and could you please answer them? So I would like to check if you understood what we were talking in this presentation. Okay, the first question to you. So how can you help develop project schedules?
Contribute to determining the duration of the effort.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other way you can help develop
Sequence and dependencies to meet the task project objectives.
That's right. Okay. Kayla, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, also to use the project scheduling tools and techniques.
Very good. Yeah, the ones that we discussed.
Yeah, because they help establish plan time management aspects of the schedule.
Very good, very good. Okay, Kayla, I've got another question for you. So in which manner can you contribute to determining the duration and effort? So because you're not a project manager, so you're a bit limited in your actions. So
like you said before, within delegated authority. That can be in multidisciplinary environments, which are obviously subject to frequent change, and within agreed authorization limits.
Very good, very good. Okay, Kane, how can you help establish and integrate plan time management aspects of the schedule?
By using project scheduling tools and techniques.
Very good, very good. Yeah, the ones that we've been using actually. Yeah, very good. Okay, another question for you, Kayla. What can the project scheduling tools and techniques include?
They can assist in qualitative and quantitative time analysis, such as schedule simulation, work breakdown structure, decision analysis, strategy development, and using personal experience experts and specialist time analysis tools to provide output to assist in the decision-making process.
Very good. Okay, a question for you. So what does a work breakdown structure list out? So what does it consist of?
It lists out all of the activities you'll need to undertake to deliver the project.
Very good, that's right. Okay, Kayla, so what should you keep in mind when estimating how long each activity will take place?
You want to start by defining the objectives. And documents overview, prepare a work breakdown structure, preparing estimates, document assumptions and define dependencies. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Also, assign and level resources, define milestones, define and analyze risks, Prepare budget, compile project plan, get approval for plan.
Very good. And so what should you remember when estimating how long each of the activities will take place? Okay.
We are bad at estimating, an activity may take longer than planned.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so another question, there are just a few left. So what does the critical path for the project identify?
It identifies the activities which have to be completed by the due date in order to complete the project on time.
Very good. And the question about your rights. Okay, so what does the Equal Opportunity Act protect people from?
It protects people from discrimination and harassment in areas of public life, such as workplaces, schools, clubs, shops, or places that provide services.
Very good. Very good. Okay, another question. Why do you need to use a plan versus actual form?
In order to record variance between actual and planned progress and monitor how you are progressing with a specific task.
That's right. Very good answer. Okay, another one. In case of variance between actual and planned progress, so whom should you report it to for remedial action?
So the relevant authority, maybe the project manager, the project specialist, or any other personnel, and also team members.
Yeah, very good, very good. And last question for you, Kate. So when assessing time management outcomes, so what exactly will you review to determine the effectiveness of time management tools, techniques, and approaches that you used?
Achievement of agreed major milestones.
Yes, very good.
Phases and subcontracts, change of key personnel, delivery of major deliverables, finalization of progress and other agreed milestones.
Very good, very good. And the last question for you, Kayla. So in which case should you report, for example, time-wise and cost-wise to the agreed person?
If the project exceeds the 5% limit, which is the cost in time.
Yes, very good. So very well done. Thank you very much for your participation. So very well answered. All the questions have been very well answered. So I know that you followed and so you perceived the information I gave you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.